what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1991 Pierce Lance. Below me is a 9.05 liter two-stroke diesel V6 as well as a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Pierce Lance because I think it's every kid's dream to drive a fire truck. And so I get to do it here today. I've always wanted to do this. This is such a cool and unique experience and I am so excited to share it with you. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle or fire truck, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out and I come out to you. But let's get back to that Detroit diesel underneath me. So yes, first of all, you have to lift up the cab, and this is a time lapse because it takes quite a long time. But the engine is underneath the cab, which is why it has such a wide center console. It is a two-stroke diesel V6 that is over 9 liters in displacement, and it makes 270 horsepower. But what the better number is the torque, 737 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is a Detroit diesel engine, and this is actually the smallest in the V92 family. So this is a 6V92. There's also the 8V92, 12V92, and the 16V92, which as you could guess are 8-cylinder, 12-cylinder, or 16-cylinder engines from Detroit Diesel. This thing is an absolute workhorse. It is meant to operate, run, and pump for as long as it physically can, and that is a very long time. Now, surprisingly, it is paired to a 4-speed automatic transmission. That's right, it's auto, it's a push-button transmission, and it's actually an Allison HT740, which is incredibly heavy-duty, and Allison is kind of the name brand when it comes to heavy-duty utility transmissions. GMC and Chevy actually use them in their heavy-duty trucks for quite some time as well. Last but not least, this truck is rear-wheel drive. However, it is a dually, and a rather big dually at that, and the tires can be inflated or deflated at the push of a button, as well as it has deployable snow chains. So you can see them kind of working here. We don't have snow and I didn't want to tear up the asphalt, but basically it lowers these chains and spins them like a fan, and then you drive over them as they're spinning. Very, very interesting way of getting a fire truck unstuck, and something I've never dealt with before. So how does it feel to drive a Pierce Lance? Well, it's a cab over truck first and foremost, so you are sitting on top of and pretty much in front of the front steer wheels. So you start turning after your body has already gone part of the way through the turn. If you're familiar with box trucks or little K trucks, you'll know the sensation really well. It is massive, however, it's not as daunting as you would actually think. It has power steering, it's automatic, it has regular turn signals. It is a big behemoth, it's a very large vehicle, but it's actually not the end of the world. It's a lot easier to handle, and I wasn't quite expecting that. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior, because boy, do we have a lot to go through. In front of me, I have 10 gauges. Off to the left is my engine oil, water temperature, engine hours, and voltage. Then we have the tachometer and speedometer in the center. And off to the right, we have the front air pressure, rear air pressure, trans oil temperature, and fuel. Down to the bottom left, we have our Jake brakes as well as our engine start butt. But off to the right, we have our turn key, check engine, start engine, and check trans lights, as well as our hand throttle, things like that. The steering wheel just says Pierce, and it is giant. Even though it does have power steering, you still need all the leverage that you can get. On the door, it just says danger, vehicle 88 tire pressure. And that's pretty much it, just a warning sign. It has manual windows, and of course a manual latch to get in and out. Then moving into the center, we have our wipers and washer, pump shift, and our lights. So wiper washer, pretty standard stuff there. It's gonna operate just like your Ford Pinto did. Then we have our defrost, heater controls, things like that. Now this does not have air conditioning, just heat. But then we have our pump shift. So when you engage this, the engine no longer powers the wheels of the truck, but rather powers the pump for the 750-gallon tank behind me. This was a water pumper truck. And so it actually uses the engine to pump the water. I don't know why I never considered this. as a kid, but pretty cool that it could switch over. But that also means that you cannot drive and pump at the same time. Not sure why you would, but you can. Off to the right, we have a ton of different lights. Here is the truck lit up, as you'll see through the rest of the video. Very, very cool control panel here. Some stuff added originally, some stuff added later, and whatnot. Across the dash, we do have a radio, as well as some other signal master lights and such. But we do have aftermarket cup holders. We'll do a big freaking bottle test, and here's the thing. The Pierce Lance passes with these aftermarket cup holders, and normally aftermarket cup holders I say no to. But everything about this truck was as needed, so I'm gonna give this one a pass, because it can also carry 750 gallons in the bed, so in my book, that's a pass for a friggin' water bottle. Then we have our brake, and this is actually a mounted radio. Then we have our shifter on top of this giant center console. Like I said, this is actually where the engine lives, under this push button shifter. Really, really lovely. And then over in the passenger seat, they are over in their own world. They might as well be social distancing from me, which, hey, I'm not mad at. The seat is comfortable enough. You're not going on a road trip in this bad boy, so it's not much of a worry. High strength vinyl, you're good to go. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. First of all, getting out is terrifying, especially doing this one-handed. Imagine your house is burning down and you see me sliding out of the truck like a little girl, all scared. Anyway, getting in the back of the Pierce Lance. First of all, I don't know if I should be saying this, but fire trucks don't have doors that lock. These don't have locks on them. Fun fact for you. Anyway, getting up into the back, this is my filming equipment, but here is the back seat. Now, normally this truck did have a back seat, but this is not the original one. The owner actually built these seats because it had specially designed seats so a firefighter could sit with their air tank on the back, so it had little cutouts, which is fantastic and super useful. But if you're trying to sit a kid back here or a family member or something like that, they end up falling into the hole where the air tank would go. So not fantastic. The rest of the space, I mean, honestly, this is Rolls-Royce levels of legroom. This is pretty nice. You got little windows. I mean, you know, I'm waiting for the drink cart to come down here. This is actually pretty comfy and nice. I didn't know our boys were rolling up to a fire all swagged out, rolling like this. Come on. This ain't too bad. Yeah, so here's the back seat, which you probably haven't seen on YouTube in a while. Here's the back seat of a Pierce Lance fire truck. What a wonderful experience. Before we do a walk around, let's take a look at all these awesome dials on the side. This is on the driver's side of the truck. A lot of pressure readings. You can pause the video and read whatever you'd like. And there's an inlet and outlet for the water, but also on the passenger side, there's also another inlet and outlet for water, which is very cool. So they can pump from either side of the truck, and of course you can hook it up to a fire hydrant to have quote-unquote unlimited water instead of just the 750 gallons on board. However, the back is completely taken up by cabinet space and the 750 gallon tank, so not much to talk about back there, but let's do a walk around. And as you can see, it's a wonderfully well kept Pierce Lance. The owner, Matt, has done a lot of work to it, repainting. He buffed all of the diamond plating on it, so I really genuinely think it looks fantastic. He has done a wonderful job with it. And overall, it's just really cool to get up close and personal with a fire truck. It's something that not a lot of people get to do. And so with that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving not only a fire truck, but a Pierce Lance? Well, Pierce is a very old company. They've created and built utility equipment for decades and decades, and they're actually now a part of the Oshkosh Group, which builds a lot of heavy equipment, and they're supposed to build our new mail trucks coming up soon in the future. But driving this has been so special, and I did want to talk about the legality and what you have to do in order to own a fire truck, because it's surprisingly not that much. First of all, you got to take off any fire department's name. So you can't have Eugene, Oregon Fire Department on the side. You got to take that off. And you have to put on these stickers that say private vehicle not for hire. You have to have that legally. Other than that, this thing is insured through a regular insurance company. It was bought at an auction for not a whole lot of money, and it has extended antique plates. It's pretty much any other antique vehicle that you would see driving around or at a show. It's not that hard. The biggest issue, the owner told me, was that it's expensive to fill up with diesel and it's expensive to find storage for it because you can't really park this outside your duplex. That's literally it. So if you want to own a fire truck, you absolutely can. And it's just cool to be driving something that has been so important. This truck undoubtedly has saved lives and saved homes, saved people, saved what's near and dear to us. This truck has shown up at car accidents and house fires and medical emergencies. This is the ultimate symbol of help is on the way. And to be driving that, to experience what some of the bravest men and women I've ever met experience on the daily is an honor. To drive where so many heroes have driven before is nothing short of a privilege, and a privilege that I don't take lightly. So if you have ever been a firefighter or first responder, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. First responders make the world go round and make our society safe and habitable indefinitely. And so you have my gratitude. Thank you very much. If you ever were a first responder, or if you even drove a Pierce Lance, my cap is tipped to you, and I'd like to thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Matt, who owns this Pierce Lance, for letting me take it out. This is so undoubtedly cool to drive a fire truck. You guys asked. You guys said in the comments of my Ford F950 video, we want big trucks like this. So I am fulfilling that. Thank you for leaving your comments, and thank you to Matt for bringing this fire truck out for me to drive here today. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.